Story 1. I declined to send my boyfriend nudes, so he accessed my personal email to see if I sent it to others. Throwaway, he will absolutely recognize this post if he sees it, but I would rather nobody we know does. I've been with my partner for 3 years now, and it seems like he has always shown a certain disregard for my personal space and boundaries. Early in the relationship, he asked me to send him nudes, and I said no. I have never sent one, and won't start now. Saying it once was not enough. He kept asking, but eventually he did leave it alone. Fast forward from that, and he moved in with me a while back because his lease was up and he hadn't found a new one. Shortly after arriving in my home, he went through my closet and underwear drawer and grilled me about unused intimate toys that had been a gag gift from a female friend after my last breakup. I explained at that time that I didn't feel being in a relationship with him meant I relinquished all right to privacy or my own space. More recently, he began to grill me about the last time I had talked to my ex before him, and I said, not since we've been together. I couldn't figure out why he was so stuck on it. Eventually, he admitted that he had accessed my phone, which I didn't look at the time, read through like 7 years of my email looking for any nudes I had sent to others. None. I have never sent a nude. And found an email I had sent to my ex saying I wasn't comfortable being friends on social media after said ex sent me a friend request. This one email had been sent while current boyfriend was broken up with me and dating another woman, and I'd literally forgotten about it given that even that exchange happened years ago. Anyway, I've been unable to get past the feeling that this is not only a tremendous violation of my privacy and anyone's who's emailed me, but also just the latest in a pattern of him feeling entitled to my personal space. I'm seriously considering ending the relationship over it. Assuming I can get him to go, do you think there's any chance of counseling improving this side of him, or is failure to respect my privacy just a trait he's always going to have? Look, I'm sure it's something that he can improve, and a trait about himself that he should improve. Whether or not you feel you need to be around for that improvement, I wouldn't. Like, I'm sorry, that's so many red flags. He is having a red flag parade with you. All of this crap, the demanding nudes. Like, folks, look, if you want to send some nudes, fine. If it's something that you're both into, whatever, be careful about it. That crap gets leaked, it seems, all the time. But if you ask your partner, hey, you want to send me some nudes? And they go, no, I'm not comfortable with that. The end. End of discussion. Stop asking. And then searching through your stuff, criticizing you for having intimate toys, even if they weren't a gag gift. You're allowed to have them. Heck, you could be using them every day and be like, sorry, bud, but that's mine. No, this guy has a lot of improving to do, and you don't need to be around him when he's improving. You can go if you want. He's done enough. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for not telling my boyfriend I won money 15 years ago? I don't know what I did wrong, or if what I did is wrong, and I need some advice. I didn't want to post this on my real account because I'd like to be as anonymous as possible. My boyfriend, 35 male, and I, 35 female, were discussing finances as we wanted to be on the same page. My boyfriend moved in with me unexpectedly 3 months ago as his landlord decided to move into the property with his family. We were discussing finances and the topic of how I own my place came up. I explained I won some money, not a lot, but enough to be able to put myself through nursing school, purchase my home, and have some savings back in 2009. And I bought my place outright and then rented it out until I moved back into it in late 2018. Obviously, I had some luck on my side, and this was right in the middle of the recession, so I got my place for real cheap. He says I deceived him by giving him the impression that I was financially well off, and that I led him to believe I was more business savvy than I was. I don't know how I did that because I literally work as a nurse, make decent money, fully own my home, fully own my car, have decent retirement plans, and decent savings. I'm fairly certain that I am financially better off than most people I know. He says that he can't trust me anymore and that he was stupid to have listened to my financial advice, but the thing is, I never gave him any financial advice except for telling him not to buy a car that was, in my opinion, unreliable and much too expensive. Did I deceive him by not telling him how I got myself financially stable? FYI, we've been dating for almost a year and a half. Edit. I just had another very weird conversation with him, and I honestly can't wrap my head around it. Yeah, so he's definitely a gold digger. He asked me how much I have in savings and seemed impressed with how much, and then said maybe he reacted too aggressively. Then he asked/told me he still wants the car I advised him not to get. He hinted at me getting it for him as a birthday present since it's his birthday in early March. I'm definitely dumping him. Going to wait till my 2 sisters and my 2 brother-in-laws can come over before I break up with him in case he reacts like crazy. Edit 2. He's jealous and also resentful. He's ranting about how he would have tripled the money if he had won it. Edit 3. He's saying that my money is wasted on me because I don't make it make money. Apparently I should have been investing my savings in high-yielding stocks and other crap. FYI, I do get financial advice from a financial advisor I trust, but I'm a risk-averse person, so I would never invest it in the manner this idiot is telling me. Sure, the chance to get a lot of money is there, but so is the chance to lose. Edit 4. He's now on a crazy rant because I suggested we take a break from this argument because I don't want to ruin my few days off. My God, I can't believe how he's behaving. He thinks he's so clever, but I'm so thoroughly disgusted. Oh, it is absolutely over between us. Edit 5. Okay, so I understand him better now. So my house/the property it's on is what led him to believe I was much richer than I am. He assumed I was loaded. So me telling him I actually got lucky peed him off. Then when he found out how much in savings and assets I have, he perked up and had a change of mind. He's now telling me that with just a quarter of my money, he can show me how to invest on the stock market and make real money. Oh, he is genuinely deluded. This is just an amazing story. Like, obviously, I have no advice to give this person because they are clearly doing just fine and making all the right choices, which they got a property. They have it paid off. Do you have any idea how amazing it would feel to be in your 30s and have your, like, house and your car and everything paid off and have money in savings? Like, yeah, this person got lucky. And they did everything right, in my opinion. You don't always have to make money, you know? It's just, she's set. She gets to be comfortable. That's wonderful. And this guy is a gold-digging idiot. He is, oh, wow. Oh, man. I hope he has just the biggest hissy fit when she dumps him. And I hope he also purchases that car before she dumps him, like he does it on his own, thinking that she'll just cover his expenses or something, and then he's stuck with the car and without her, and I guess I hope he learns a lesson, but boy oh boy, what a wiener. Story 3. My 25 female, boyfriend 25 male, says really mean things to me in his sleep. I need to preface this by saying that when my boyfriend is awake, he is wonderful and I couldn't be happier. We laugh and joke all day, and spending time with him in general is truly a joy. Yes, I mean this. No, he doesn't upset me at all when he's awake. Also, for some background, he works night shifts at a job he really hates, so when he comes home, he likes to just relax and unwind, usually with whiskey or beer. Typically, we cuddle or I massage his back and legs until he's drunk enough to fall asleep. Edit, he doesn't need alcohol to fall asleep. I worded this wrong. He can fall asleep fine without it. I just meant that the alcohol makes him fall asleep quicker than usual. I have insomnia, so I usually end up staying awake for a while after he falls asleep. I'm also really sensitive to aggressive tone of voice due to some past trauma. He only really talks in his sleep if I shift too quickly or try to move him over a little bit, if I have no room on the bed, or if I move the blanket too much and it disturbs him. He usually snaps at me saying, "Quit frickin' moving," or "Can you please effing stop?" or "Oh my effing God." Just things in general that give off an indication that he's really annoyed with me. There's also been a couple unprompted times when he's stirred or rolled over, I guess disturbing his own sleep, and said things like, "I can do better than this," etc. Because of my sensitivity, I usually end up crying over these things. I try to make a point not to bring up the things he says or does in his sleep unless they're funny, which sometimes happens, because for one, I really don't think he can control it, and two, when I have brought up things he said, he always ends up feeling horribly guilty for the things he says, and that makes me feel guilty for saying anything. Last night in his sleep, he ripped my blanket away from me, we sleep with separate blankets because this has been an issue in the past, and tucked it under himself and his own blanket. It was really cold in the room, so I tried to take it back, but he grabbed my hand and shoved it away. I didn't want to wake him up, but he's a lot stronger than me, and no matter what I tried to do, I just couldn't get the blanket back. I shook him gently and kept saying, "Baby, can you please give me my blanket back?" I was met with sleepy grunts, but he still wouldn't give it back. Finally, after a little persistence, he sat up really quick and yelled, "What do you want? Jesus, you're annoying!" I said, "I just want my blanket back, please." He shoved it towards me and nearly knocked me off the bed and then instantly laid back down and started snoring. I didn't sleep at all last night because of this. It's really eating at me. I really don't want to be annoying to him, especially when he's trying to rest after work, but I also don't know how I can keep putting up with this. Part of me wonders if he actually means any of the things he says. When he woke up this morning, I couldn't bring myself to say anything about it, but I also couldn't look him in the eye. I guess my question in this is, am I being too sensitive? Should I bring this up to him? I don't know how much that would accomplish because he usually has no recollection of it and doesn't know how to control it. What can I do to keep my sensitivity from affecting our relationship and the way I see him/myself? Okay, couple things here. This is actually affecting you, and as a couple, you're allowed to communicate that. And if he just feels guilty about it, that sucks, but it is still him doing it. And what needs to happen is, I think he might need to go in for like a sleep study or something, because clearly he's dealing with some things that might even be borderline sleepwalking, and it sounds like it could potentially be violent. He almost shoved you off the bed. What if he accidentally struck out and hit you? I'm not saying that he consciously wants to do it, but those things can happen, and you need to protect yourself. So yes, you bring this up to him. And for something this severe where it's happening and he has no memory of it, yeah, he probably needs to do a sleep study or see a therapist. I don't know, something. Also, I will say, folks, drinking a bunch of alcohol to get yourself drunk just to fall asleep faster, you fall asleep faster, but you don't fall asleep better. Alcohol kind of wears off. It screws up your system. It's not actually good for sleep. You think it is. You think it helps you fall asleep, and it'll help you fall asleep, but it kind of there's a whole bunch of stuff on it. So that's not a great habit to start. And I think it's something that he should probably try to stop, because I feel like it might be contributing to that. Maybe. Who knows? He needs to have a study done for your safety. Story 4. My husband and I are closing on a house and moving in tomorrow. The seller just said they're coming back in a few days. We have a bit of a mess on our hands. Our realtor has told us that the seller downsized and was planning to leave or donate a good portion of their furniture. Closing was scheduled a month ago, and we were clear that we were moving in immediately after the title transferred. We had the final walkthrough today. There are beds and dressers in 2 of 3 bedrooms, and the living room contains 2 couches and 2 coffee tables. Everything else had been cleared out save for a few decorations up on the walls. Closing is at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. The seller's in Florida and has already signed their end of the paperwork. There's no mention in the contracts of any agreement to store the seller's belongings. 10:30 p.m. tonight, our realtor calls. She says the seller just told her they will be back on Friday, 3 days after we've closed and moved in, to get their things. I'm fairly sure they can't continue to use the house as free storage after closing. We cannot move our things in and have our movers set them up where we want with all the seller's things in the way. We have to pile all our furniture around hers and set it up ourselves later, which would be extremely difficult because my husband is disabled and I am pregnant. I'm not sure the movers would be willing to handle someone else's belongings to get them out of our way. It's my understanding that once title passes to us, anything still inside the property is legally ours and the seller has no right to re-enter. We don't want to be jerks if something is maybe a family heirloom or very sentimental, but we can't move in around all the seller's stuff. We were kind of hoping to keep a few of those pieces, but we have our own furniture and it's not that big of a deal. It seems highly unlikely they could move their things out by closing. Could the seller at this point refuse to let us close or move in tomorrow? Our lease ends on the 31st, so we would have nowhere to go if that happened. Do we have any obligations to store or return the seller's things? Could they insist on inserting a clause letting them store their things at this stage? Would we be liable if any of their belongings are damaged during move-in if we agree to hold something for them? We're first-time home buyers using a VA loan, so we aren't very familiar with this sort of issue. So, regarding, the laws and legalities surrounding that, I feel like these are all questions that you should be passing on to your realtor and being like, what are the laws surrounding this? What do we do? This is not convenient at all. I feel like you should be addressing them. I'm sure not going to be able to tell you anything. I mean, I don't have a clue. I will say, on the seller's part, that's a crappy thing to do. That sucks. Like, seriously, people selling that house, don't do that. If you're ever selling a house, don't just be like, well, I mean, I know they bought it and they're moving in, but I'm going to keep some stuff there for a while, okay? Just hang on to it for me. No, get your crap out. No. Yeah, I'm sorry. Look up the legalities with your realtor or whatever. Get a lawyer. I'm allergic to this question. I'm done. Bye. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.